Hello folks, Fat Guy Flies RC. If you look down the runway, you'll see the E-Flite clip wing cub coming at us. Now those lights are not stock. Those are actually the lights out of an Arrows Husky that I purchased, and I've actually hot glued those on the bottom of the wings of this plane just to give it some lights. Now E-Flite does not produce this plane anymore. I'm really hoping they'll bring it back because it is one awesome flyer. Simple 4-channel bird. This is the bind and fly version, so she does have safe select, but I only have her bound with AS3X. So right aileron, left aileron, up elevator, down elevator, right rudder, left rudder. All right. Very nice plane. As you can see, she got plenty of power. That was a nice stall turn there. Looks like I need a little bit of right aileron input. She's not a rocket ship, but this is a J3 Cub after all. This would be considered the sport version because of the shorter wings. So let's get her turned around here and bring her right at me. Get a look at them lights. There, a nice low, slow pass. The traditional Cub markings. There, get ourselves a nice little knife edge there. And you look at the starburst underneath the wings there. Let's get her further out. Since I don't have flaps to slow her down, get her a little further out there. Try to do my turn as flat as possible because I do have curved wings. Wings are level now, so I'm only using elevator and throttle and rudder for correction. Oh, I can do better than that. Let's get turned around and see if we can't lose some of that bounce. All right. I know, folks, when you see me fly, you're thinking, well, really, all you do is just landings and takeoffs. Well, that's what I love to do. Okay, keeping my wings level, only using my elevator and rudder. There. Yeah, when I'm landing, I line her up for the landing, get the wings level with my ailerons, and then I do not mess with the ailerons anymore. At that point, once I've got her lined up for the runway, my only control surfaces that I'm messing with at that point, okay, now she's level, so all I'm going to use now is elevator, rudder, and throttle. There, that was sloppy. Nice knife edge there. As you can see, she's got plenty of roll rate. Okay. And the reason I say I'm not using my elevator, think about what you're doing when you take off. Are you using any elevator when you take off? No, only elevator. I mean, using any aileron when you take off? No, of course you're not. Because your landing gear wouldn't allow for that, right? You're only using elevator and rudder when you take off, or flaps. If your flaps are set right, you shouldn't have to have any elevator input to take off if your flaps are set right. But, and like I say, everything I talk about and all the principles that I speak of and how I say this is how you do this and this is how you do that is come from two sources. Real life experience, what I've learned by the hard knocks of life from my own, through a lot of money and crashed planes, and what you, the YouTubers, and people who know more about it than I do, have taught me. So, and this thing about not using your ailerons to land, one of my viewers because I couldn't figure out why on my J65 big business jet, why I kept ground looping as soon as I'd land. And he watched a bunch of my videos, and I forget his name, and I'm very sorry. And I forget his name. Oh. But he said, you're correcting with your ailerons. And you know what I just did? Not thinking about it, I corrected with my ailerons just now. And you see how bad that landing was. Doing exactly what I'm saying not to do. But I just got out of the habit of that, and so I'm having to use the discipline of get your fingers off the ailerons when you're landing. But anyways, like I was saying, but he just said you're trying to correct with your ailerons, and that's why you're having your bad landings, you know. If you correct with your elevator and your rudder, the only two control surfaces you use. And of course your rudder, I mean of course your throttle, because that to maintain the positive momentum. But so anyways, I started applying that principle and not correcting with my ailerons at all, and I'm getting more and more consistent good landings doing that. And that's actually the way you should do it anyways. I looked it up and it's like, yeah, once you get your wings level, like, all right, okay, my wings are level basically now, right? Okay, I'm not messing with the ailerons. I'm only messing with the rudder and the elevator and throttle. Now see, that started to mess up on me there at the last. And what I did was I used a little bit of, when I kind of hit the first time, I used throttle to get up out of that. And yeah, I'm kind of dug in, but I used throttle to get up out of that. I should have had just a little more and then let the landing gear touch, and then kind of run with it and let the tail settle in. But yeah, you got to get out of the habit of when you're landing, don't use your ailerons to correct. And you say, well, what about bank and yank planes? Same principle. You just don't, you have to line your landing up as you're approaching, and then level your then you level out your wing, okay, and you're not going to use your ailerons, and you don't have the luxury of rudder to line it up because it's a bank and yank. So you got to already get it lined up, and then you're just using elevator and throttle at that point. Right now, here I go. Only elevator, throttle, and rudder. Ground loop. Well, tail dragger. But help me. Anyways, that's just my humble findings, folks. Let me check something real quick on the GoPro. I just heard it make a noise. Okay, we're still filming. All right, we're going to do one more. I'm going to get turned around here. But what I was saying even earlier than that, when you're taking off, all you're using is elevator, really, and throttle, right? Because your landing gear keeps your wings level, so it's the same process when you go to land. Your wings, get your wings level, and then correct your direction with rudder, and keep the wings and keep your nose up with your elevator. All right. All right, great little plane. Now, the suspension on this plane actually is functional. All right. Yeah, the suspension is functional. Timer telling me it's time to quit. There you go. All right, folks, well, there you go. That is the E-Flite clip wing cub. E-Flite, Horizon Hobby, if you're listening to me, to my humble opinion, please bring this plane back and give it lights like I have. LED lights are so cheap these days. Come on. I mean, I know you're going to charge $299 for it, but bring it back. Give it lights at least. I wouldn't give it flaps. They don't need flaps. But bring this plane back, and bring it back with a smart ESC and the smart receiver, and give us a 4S option on it, because this thing is awesome. All right, folks, thank you so much for watching. That's my rant to E-Flite. Don't forget, like and subscribe, and faith, family, and friends. Bye, y'all.